What happens when one of country music's biggest stars steps into the fiery world of daytime television and refuses to play nice with one of America's most outspoken hosts? You're about to see one of the most intense moments ever broadcast live. And trust me, it only gets more unbelievable as it goes on. Blake Shelton walked onto the View set with his usual easy confidence, flashing that familiar grin as he took his seat. The crowd cheered, thrilled to see the country icon. Whoopi Goldberg welcomed him warmly, and for a while everything went smoothly as they chatted about his new album and tour. Then Joy Behar leaned forward, her tone changing. "Blake, I've got to ask about some of the things you said recently about the music industry and political correctness. Those comments stirred up quite a bit of controversy." Blake's smile didn't fade, but his tone sharpened. "Well, Joy, I think folks are tired of being told what they can or can't say. Country music's always been about truth, even if it makes people uneasy." Joy wasn't backing off. "But don't you think artists have a responsibility to consider their platform? Your words reach millions." "And those millions can think for themselves," Blake replied, his voice firm. "They don't need celebrities or TV hosts telling them what's right or wrong." The air grew tense. Whoopi tried to move things along, asking about The Voice, but Joy wasn't done. "You talk about truth-telling, but country music has excluded so many voices. How do you square that with your idea of authenticity?" Blake's jaw tightened. "Joy, I think you're confusing things. Country music welcomes anyone who's real. It's about heart, not background." "Really?" Joy pressed. "Because the numbers say otherwise. The industry's been criticized for its lack of diversity." Blake shook his head. "You want to talk numbers? I see people from every walk of life at my shows, singing, crying, laughing together. That's what matters, not statistics." The hosts exchanged uneasy looks. Sarah Haynes tried to lighten the mood, but Blake wasn't letting go. "I'm tired of people sitting up here judging small-town folks like they're less than. You don't speak for country fans, and you sure don't speak for America." Joy's eyes flared. "People like me? What's that supposed to mean?" "People who think they know better," Blake shot back. "People who look down on those from small towns as if we're ignorant." The room fell silent. Whoopi tried to interject, but Joy fired back. "I've never called anyone ignorant, but we do need to talk about inclusion." "Inclusion?" Blake scoffed. "This feels more like an interrogation. You invited me to talk about music, not politics." The tension was thick as cameras rolled and producers panicked behind the scenes. "You know what, Blake?" Joy said sharply, slamming her hand on the table. "I've been doing this for decades. I don't need some country singer telling me how to do my job," Blake smirked. "And I don't need someone who's never been to Nashville telling me about my world. When's the last time this show featured a country artist without grilling them about politics?" "That's not true," Joy shot back. "Name 3 from the last 2 years, Blake challenged. Joy hesitated. The pause said everything. "Exactly," Blake said. "You don't care about country music. You just want to make us targets." Whoopi stepped in. "Let's cool things down." But Blake kept going. "No, Whoopi. I'm tired of watching the media bash country music. We're not your enemies." Joy straightened up. "No one's calling you that. But when your words sound exclusionary, people will call you out." "Exclusionary?" Blake's voice rose. "I've spent my career mentoring singers from every background, collaborating across genres. What have you done to unite people besides argue every day on this show?" The audience looked uneasy as Joy snapped, "How dare you question me? I fought for equality long before you were famous." "Fighting?" Blake scoffed. "Where I'm from, that means doing real work, not talking behind a desk." Joy's color faded. "Watch your tone, young man." "Or what?" Blake leaned in. "You'll cancel me? Write a hit piece? Go ahead. Controversy sells." Alyssa Farah Griffin tried to change the topic, mentioning Blake's charity work, but he ignored it. "The truth is, you can't stand that country music represents values you don't share." "That's not true," Joy said weakly. "Isn't it?" Blake pressed. "You treat country folks like they're backward. You act like we're the problem." "Nobody's saying that," Joy insisted. "Yes, you are," Blake said. "You judge us based on where we're from. You're doing exactly what you claim to fight against." The studio was frozen. Joy stood up, her face red. You have a platform, Blake, and instead of using it responsibly, you spread division. Blake rose too, towering over the table. Division? That's rich from someone who stirs outrage for ratings. At least I bring people joy. What do you bring? Truth, Joy said through clenched teeth. Accountability. Your version of truth, Blake countered. The people you say you fight for? They're my fans. They don't need you speaking for them. Whoopi tried again to calm the room. Let's all take a breath. But Blake wasn't done. His voice dropped, steady and cold. You could have asked me about my songs, my fans, the stories behind them. Instead, you ambushed me with politics. Joy sat down but stayed firm. I asked fair questions about your own words. I can handle questions, Blake said. But not when they twist who I am. I've treated people with respect my whole life. Can you say the same? Joy hesitated, her confidence faltering. I've fought for equality and justice. Your version of it, Blake replied. But where's the space for those who see things differently? Sarah tried to step in. Blake, I think joy just means everyone deserves a voice. I agree, Blake said. But inclusion goes both ways. It means respecting small-town voices, too. We do respect them, Joy said, but her tone wavered. Do you? Blake challenged. Because every time country music comes up, it's mocked for being outdated. That's prejudice, too. The silence was heavy. You're reinforcing the same bias you claim to fight, Blake added. Just against different people. Blake sighed, his anger softening into disappointment. You know what's sad, Joy? We probably agree on more than you think. We both care about people. But instead of finding common ground, you came looking for a fight. Joy looked shaken. I didn't mean for this to happen. Maybe not, Blake said quietly. But this is what happens when every conversation turns into a battle. He looked straight into the camera. This is why people are losing trust in the media. Instead of real talk, they get ambushes. Turning back to the table, he continued. I came here to talk about music, the joy it brings, the stories we share. But you turned it into politics. Whoopi tried to smooth things over. Maybe there was a misunderstanding. No, there wasn't. Blake interrupted. This was planned. Joy made up her mind about me before I even walked out here. He removed his microphone and set it on the table. Thanks for having me. I hope your viewers got what they wanted. As Blake walked off the set, the studio stayed frozen in stunned silence. This wasn't just an interview gone wrong. It was a complete meltdown of live TV decorum. Everyone watching knew they had just witnessed a moment that would be talked about for years. Now, what do you think? Was Blake Shelton justified in standing his ground? Or did Joy Behar make valid points worth considering?